In this episode, we will learn that why Merritt was kidnapped. Episode 4 of Dept Q begins with more shots of the past. Merritt retrieves William's hat from the ferry. One lady called her, "Hello, Merritt." She's immediately grabbed and bundled in the back of a car. When she awakens, she finds herself inside this pressurized tank. Back in the present, Carl heads over to therapy with Rachel. When the conversation turns to Jasper, she realizes that Carl's issues are being compounded by the responsibility leveled on his shoulders. Before they can dive deeper into this, though, their time is up and the hilarious banter between them continues out the door. Carl heads back to the station where he overhears Logan looking into the shooting case and decides to get involved. Now, the initial theory about the shooter coming in through the back or arriving before them to wait don't hold much weight. Carl explains that there were bins piled up at the back door, so it would have been impossible to come in without making a ton of noise. Why would anyone do that? Most of the people of that flat use that place as another room. Inside, there's a chair in front of the door. Anyone coming in would have to move the bin, open the door, and move the chair, all of which without hearing us. It means someone sat in the house overnight. I'm pointing out that someone went out, not in, from the back door. The CCTV footage also shows someone in McDonald's 25 minutes before the shooting starts, and the timing is very tight for this gunman to break in to eat chips and drank his McFlurry over there. Depending how fast he ate it, that's 10 minutes before he went into the flat. So what does this mean? He came back in time into the flat before you arrived. Well, Carl believes there may have been more than one assailant, which is something they completely overlooked, with both waiting in the car for them to show up. From which side of the direction the car drove away and from which side of the car the person got in. Go back, ask from her witness. Rose brings a laptop for Hardy. He asked about Carl. How Carl's treating you. Carl gives me his shit work. Gives Akram all the good stuff. Rose speaks to Hardy and she's downcast about being cast aside on this case. I think he wants to keep me away from the investigation. I blackmailed him into bringing me on. No one can blackmail Carl. He doesn't give a shit. If he didn't want you, you'll not be there. She told him that he suggests she go and see the constable, but get him on her side by making him feel important. Hardy encourages her to look into the day-to-day patterns of Merritt's life, and in particular, what ripples may have misaligned after her disappearance. Rose shows up at Moore, and after buttering up Cunningham, she turns her attention to Jennings. It would also appear she may have been in on another robbery too, with no violence involved. He told her that during robbery, Harry Jennings beat William, and Merritt left the house with her brother William and never come back. Another man told her that she came back one time for funeral. Nice. She came back for funeral of Harry Jennings, who beat her brother to death. Harry and Merritt were very close. If they were close, then why he rob her house? Given Jennings' family were desperate and their business close to going bust, a robbery would be just what they need to get back on track. Heading over to the Jennings house, Colin, the constable's son, joins Rose on the trip. There's no love lost here between him and Cunningham, though, and Colin reveals that there was a tech photo of the room William was found in. Someone, i.e. Cunningham, circled something on the floor with a black marker, which happens to be a necklace. Could you scan the photo? Yes, I can. Might be Constable look bad. What's the name? Clive Jennings Business. Clive Jennings Business works with hazardous material, but we don't find out exactly what. There are numerous dead birds in the area, and it could be a clue, but for now, Rose leaves empty-handed. Back home, Carl is visited by his estranged ex, Victoria. She sits with Martin and drinks wine in the kitchen, eventually going on to mention how Jasper idolized him despite the fact that he's run away and is staying with his grandparents at the moment. Carl scoffs at the notion that Jasper actually cares, until he finds out that when he was in hospital, Jasper stayed with him the whole time. She's quick to grill into him about what sort of example he's setting, and it gives him food for thought. Jasper wants to know what's the problem is going on in your head, not him. Back at the basement, Akram and Rose discuss the new revelations regarding these crime scene photos. The circled necklace is the same chain that Merritt took from Jamie, which initially belonged to Lila, but it wasn't stolen. It was listed on the insurance claim, but she came back for it on the day of Jennings' funeral. Back into the tank. They provide her water, toothbrush, and shorts. She becomes angry, take off clothes, and said, "That's you want to see." Martin believes Victoria is onto something and wants to talk about Leith Park that night. Carl is not in the mood, but decides to open up all the same, explaining how guilty he feels after the bullet hit Hardy's spine and slowed down enough to save his life as it pierced his neck. This soon shuts Martin up. When Carl finds out what Rose has found out, she pokes holes in her theory regarding the bird and how it's connected to the boat. Rose admits she's unsure how everything connects together. As far as they can tell, Merritt was a loner. She didn't have any friends, and there's nothing here to suggest life was changed much after her disappearance. The only exception stems from a letter Merritt received from someone called S, who could be an old flame. It's written in the letter that I miss you already. Look forward to the next time. Sam room. I believe that bed brings good luck. Who's S? And again, who knows when she got this? Who packed it up? Within her office, a woman called Sabrine worked there. So Carl brings her in for questioning. Sabrine admires the woman, though, admitting that Merritt didn't care what people thought of her, and she thrived on the hostility of her workplace. Akram asked Merritt was strong or survivor. She absolutely thrived on that stuff, so she could survive in difficult situation. You think she could be alive? Yes, it's possible. Nah, it's been 4 years ago. If she's alive, I would just know. Because you were very close to her. We haven't a connection now. She's quite open, scoffing at the potential relationship they could have had given she doesn't bat for that team. Rose showed her a letter, asked about the someone whose name is started with S, because she packed up all the stuff of Merritt office, but she didn't have any idea about that. Sabrine also pointed to Merritt's colleague, Liam Taylor. The only potential individual that could be of interest at work is Stephen Burns, and Carl is very quick to go and question him at the pub. It doesn't go well, and it's a pretty prickly conversation. All things considered that Carl asked a note attached to flower that was sent to Merritt. An admirer with the initial S, that might be Stephen. Whether Stephen actually is the mysterious S or not is unclear, but we do find out at the end of the episode. To be clear, Merritt, and I never discuss her personal life. You were her mentor, but no idea what she got up outside the office. Hardy was also investigating all stuff of Merritt in laptop. Sabrine had earlier pointed to Merritt's colleague, Liam Taylor, and he also happens to be someone Carl knows too. He heads out and speaks to him next, where he finds out Liam was having an affair with her, but he kept it quiet from his wife. It lasted a month, but Merritt was the one who ended it. It seems it was all physical for her, and there weren't any feelings, with her flippant line of "thanks, see you around," confirming as much. You're married, and she didn't brought people back, so where did you meet? They met at the hotel called Prince's Garden, and she always paid, with the whole affair occurring a year before she disappeared. Back then, Merritt used a different name, Lila Graham. She was using an alias and even had a card under that name, Lila Graham. I remember because I made some gag about prosecutors commit fraud. This deepens the investigation, and Carl immediately shows at the hotel looking for answers. He puts heat on the poor receptionist, and he eventually cracks, revealing that she stayed in the same room 6 times in the 2 months before she disappeared. It doesn't necessarily mean that Merritt was there. Liam Taylor is the authorized signature on file that puts the Merritt in the room, but it's not Liam who was there last. It was another man by the name of Sam Haig. Back into the tank, one lady spoke by mice. It's a time to tell us truth. Why are you here? Then you'll be free. If you don't, then you'll be here for 1 month more to think about that. She said, Sam Haig. Some past flashback. Merritt met with Sam, and after spending some sweet night with him, she decided to go to Moore to meet her father. Sam said, when you'll come back. I'll call you when I'll come. So what happened to Sam? Well, Merritt was using him for sex. Now he's dead. Merritt said, is Sam dead? And apparently his death is connected to Merritt. But how? Now you have to think about it before speak. Then they increase the pressure inside the tank to irritate her. The chamber will heat up when pressure increases, oxygen becomes denser, and it'll be difficult for her to breathe. The temperature will rise up to 32 degrees Celsius.